Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Film Sub Podcast. I'm your host, Bryan Sudfield, and this is episode 9. We did this 9 times already. And of course, I'm joined by Amanda Dunn, my lovely co host.
I love how you always say that I'm lovely, Bryan.
Well, you
Thank
are
you.
lovely. What else am I supposed to say?
I mean, I'll take it. Thank you.
So, on this episode, we're going to be talking about the films of Natalie Portman. Yeah.
Yes!
Amanda's incredibly excited to be talking about the films of Natalie Portman.
Of course I am. Natalie Portman is a goddess. She's one of my favorite people in the business. I think she is not only obviously beautiful and talented, but she's extremely intelligent, and I'm just very inspired by her. So let's have fun with this one.
Yes, let's just jump right into it. The first film is Leon the Professional, directed by Luc Besson. This stars wow, what the hell is his name? Jean Reno, Gary Oldman. And yeah, it came out in 1994. This is her first film. This is a fun movie. I really like it. I rewatched it a few weeks ago, and it's my personal favorite Luc Besson film, but that's not really saying much because he hasn't really made many great movies. The other movie I could think about that's good of his is The Fifth Element. I didn't like Lucy that much. I didn't really care for the family. And there's a dog barking outside. Lovely.
Bark, yeah, I have firecrackers going off outside my window right now.
But yeah, I don't really have much to say. I really like Leon the Professional. It's a really engaging and fun thriller movie, and it was made for a budget of $16 million. So it's pretty entertaining. It's pretty fun.
I really adore it. I do. I adore this movie. There's so many good moments in this one, and she was incredible in her first role. Like one of my favorite young child performances from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Just ridiculously the emotions that she was able to convey at such a young age. Wow. Yeah. I mean, she's possibly my favorite thing about this film, but I just really love the chemistry and the relationship between her and Jean. Yeah, I think Leon the Professional was fantastic, and it's actually one that I've been wanting to watch again for a while.
That's a term you use a lot on this show, and I would probably say the same thing.
Where can I? It's not on Netflix, I don't think.
I'm not sure.
I find it. I don't own it, but that needs to change. Maybe I'll just buy it.
Yeah.
What's next, Bryan?
Next is Heat, and I'm just gonna say one quote, even though it's not from Natalie Portman. Let me ask you something, Amanda. You think Natalie Portman's beautiful, right?
I do, of course.
That's because she's got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it. I love Heat. He is great. It's not my favorite Michael Mann movie. That movie would be Collateral. And Pacino and De Niro are great. Natalie Portman doesn't have a major role in this movie, but she is still in it, and she's very good in it. But it's Pacino and De Niro's movie. What more can you say? If we ever do an episode on Pacino or De Niro or even Michael Mann, we'll talk about this movie more because I really love Heat a lot. But it's better to talk about this on like a Pacino or De Niro episode, like I just said. So yeah, I think Heat's a really good movie. It's a great movie.
I agree completely with that. I mean, obviously, this isn't really her film. She is there, but this is kind of, I was going to say a man's film, but this is Pacino and De Niro's and a man's film, like a man's. Yeah, it's really great. I haven't seen this movie in a while, but I remember it being one that my oldest brother, used to watch it all the time. So I have seen it a few times, but I was a lot younger when I saw it, so.
Next movie is a movie called Beautiful Girls with a huge ensemble cast. Matt Dillon, Lauren Holly, Timothy Hutton, Rosie O'Donnell, Martha Plimpton, Natalie Portman, Michael Rappaport, Mira Sorvino, and Uma Thurman. I have not seen this movie.
I have seen this movie. I watched this with Marcus a few times. It used to come on HBO back in the 90s. What year was this?
96.
There we go. Okay, yeah. And I just remember this was the first movie I actually ever saw Natalie. Now, you know what? I might have seen Heat before and just didn't, and before this one, and didn't remember her necessarily as the same actress when I saw Beautiful Girls. But I just remember when I saw her in this, and she was probably about, I don't know, 14 or something in this
Mm-hmm.
movie. I thought she was so pretty, and I was like, oh my gosh, who is this actress? And this is when I was like 12 or something, I don't know. And I was just like, wow, she is the prettiest girl ever, and I wanted to be just like her. I thought she was just perfect. And I really love her in this movie, and her. I mean, she plays this. Obviously, she's too young for any of the men in the film, but I think it's Matt Dillon. He's in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Matt Dillon's character that sort of becomes enamored by her, even though she's obviously way too young for him. It's not necessarily in a creepy way, but he just appreciates how innocent and sweet and beautiful she is. And I remember thinking that Matt Dillon, if I were her, I was like, if I were her, I'd be going after that guy. But of course, that's illegal and not cool.
You ready for the next movie?
I am.
Everyone Says I Love You, directed by Woody Allen and your typical Woody Allen ensemble cast. Actors include Alan Alda, Woody Allen, Drew Barrymore, Lucas Hayes, Goldie Hawn, Gary Hoffman, Natasha Lyonne, Edward Norton, Natalie Portman, Julia Roberts, Tim Roth, and David Ogen Steers. I have not seen this movie. This is one of the few Woody Allen movies that I haven't seen. Actually, there's a lot of Woody Allen movies I haven't seen, but this is one that fascinates me.
Everyone Says I Love You.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot she's in this. I've seen it.
That's the thing with a Woody Allen movie. You forget someone's in it because there's so many people in the Woody
Yeah,
Allen movie.
there are a lot of people in this one. I remember Drew Barrymore specifically, and that was why I watched this at the time because I am a Drew fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember Natalie at all. Like I can't even picture who she, the character, what she looks like, any of that in this. However, I liked the movie. I didn't love it, and that's probably why I haven't seen it since then. I don't want to say too much more about it because I can't remember a whole lot anyway, but I just remember I was like, it was okay.
Next movie is Mars Attacks, directed by Tim Burton. Huge cast: Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, Annette Bening, Pierce Bronson, Danny DeVito, Martin Short, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michael J. Fox. Lots of people in this movie. This is one Tim Burton movie that's very, like, mixed, and it's pretty meh. It's okay. Yeah, that's really it. I don't remember Natalie Portman in this movie that much. I remember Jack Nicholson, but I don't remember much of Natalie Portman in it. It's one of my least favorite Tim Burton movies, but it's not my least favorite film of his filmography. That would probably go to Dark Shadows.
Really?
Or I don't know. I really don't know. It's a film that he definitely did. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's right. I knew it was a Johnny Depp movie that he did. I just didn't know which one. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to remember if I've seen this, which is funny because have I seen this? I haven't. I have not. I have a lot of I had a lot of friends in school at the time when this came out that talked about it all the time, but I never did see it. So, oh well.
Well, the next movie is not exactly that good of a movie either, and that's I hate talking about this. It's making me upset to talk about it. Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. Okay. This isn't an episode where I would just talk about Star Wars, okay? I will probably be doing a bunch of Star Wars reviews before Force Awakens comes out on December 18th. By the way, that Comic-Con panel, that Star Wars Comic-Con panel was fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
I saw a picture of Harrison Ford kissing
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher, which was adorable.
Yeah, you gotta watch the panel when you can. Yeah, this isn't the worst of the prequels. Some people could argue that it is, but it's like the second best. But that's not really saying much because the prequels aren't really that good. Natalie Portman's okay in this movie. She was 18 when this movie came out, so she was my age when she made it. It just feels weird. And it came out 16 years ago. I just forget how young Natalie Portman is. She's only in her early 30s.
Like someone else you know.
You.
I think she's like 2 years older than me.
Yeah. What, you were born in what year?
83.
She was born in 81.
Yeah.
So yeah, Phantom Menace is very
She's still got her youth about her.
She does. But Phantom Menace is it's Jake Lloyd, go fuck yourself. I hate you. And I'm glad that you just got arrested. You fuck.
Did he really?
Yeah, he got arrested.
Wow.
Good for him. He deserves it. Jar Jar Binks, Liam Neeson is good in the movie. Ewan McGregor is fine. Darth Maul is the best thing about the movie. Yeah, it's just. I mean, I loved it when I was younger, but as I got older, I just realized how bad the script is. George Lucas, you can go just shove it up your ass. I mean, now that you sold LucasArts to Disney, Lucasfilm to Disney, excuse me, Star Wars is in good hands right now. My boy JJ, if you're listening to this, which you probably aren't, but if you are, God bless you. You're gonna do a good job with Star Wars. I have a lot of faith in you, man. God bless you. But yeah, Phantom Menace,
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of Phantom Menace or the other one, whatever it's called. I can't think of it right now. But
we'll talk about it in just like.
I do want to admit that I saw this before I saw A New Hope.
Well, I mean, you told me you were going in order from 1 to 6, which is fine. That's fine and everything, but it's better to see the original first.
At the time when I saw it in the theater at 15 or something, whenever it came out.
Came out in 1999.
Yeah, I was about 15 years old. I saw it in the theater. I didn't really know anything much about Star Wars except for, clips and all the, like, I've heard of it my entire life, but I didn't know any better. So when I watched it, I was like, I mean, was that good? I'll ask a Star Wars fan. Was that good for Star Wars? I don't know. I mean, I thought it was okay just as someone who didn't really know much going in,
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, the things that I did like about it, I mean, Natalie Portman, I thought she looked cool. And I was very disappointed with Hayden Christensen's performance.
That's not in this film. That's the next one. That's the next one.
Yeah, see, okay. It's been a minute since I saw it. Yeah, well then in that case, I mean, I don't care if I ever see it again.
Alright, let's go to the next movie. Next movie is a movie called Anywhere But Here with her and Susan Sarandon. I have not seen this movie.
Anywhere But Here. I have seen it a few times. I think maybe twice. Maybe.
Okay.
At least. I like this film. I don't know, I felt like I could relate to it at the time that I was watching it, to her character a lot, just how she's feeling and the relationship she has with her mother. I wouldn't necessarily compare my mother to Susan Sarandon, like, personality-wise in this, but the idea of a mother-daughter relationship and sort of the dynamic between them and some of the situations and stuff in the film. I thought Susan Sarandon and Natalie are both really good in this film, and I like it. It's been a minute since I saw it, but I always really liked watching this, so I would recommend it.
Next movie is a film called Where the Heart Is. It's with her, Ashley Judd, Stockard Channing, and Joan Cusack. I have not seen this movie either.
I have seen this one.
Okay.
She is super, super cute in Where the Heart Is. She's got a major southern country girl accent going on, and she's pregnant for the beginning of the film. And she just looks, I mean, I just want to squeeze her. She's so cute in this. The movie itself is kind of Lifetime-ish. It has that feel to it, like a Lifetime movie. The storyline and all of that, it suits a Lifetime film. I guess a Lifetime film, but a little better, like, because it had such a good cast involved. It's one of those movies that you could watch it and be like entertained and involved to a certain extent, but you wouldn't come out of it thinking, "Wow, that was amazing" or anything like that. But I mean, it has its good qualities about it, I guess.
Okay. The next movie, I mean, she's in Zoolander, but it's just a cameo, and I
Oh,
fucking love Zoolander, and I'm just gonna briefly quote it because I have to every time we bring up Zoolander. What is this? A center for ants? I just literally slammed my phone.
good job.
Thank you.
I mean,
It's all good.
you could have picked anything else around you and you grabbed your phone.
It's all good.
Right.
It's all good because I have this screen cover. So the next movies is Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones, which in my opinion is the worst Star Wars film. It's the worst of the prequels. It's the worst Star Wars film ever made, and this is the one with Hayden Christensen. Um, the lines in this movie are so bad. I mean, the scenes when they're on the boo. Oh, I love you, Annie. Hold me, Annie. Hold me.
Anakin, you're breaking my heart.
That's from episode 3.
Oh,
But that is another dumb line. But that is good enough. But yeah, episode 2 is like really not good at all. I mean, I could say that visually it's decent. There are some fight scenes that are pretty well done, but it's just the dumb lines again. George Lucas's direction, like I really don't know what happened to the man. He directed American Graffiti. He directed A New Hope. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to him. I don't get it, but yeah, I really don't like Attack of the Clones. It's my least favorite Star Wars movie. It sucks, and Hayden Christensen is so wooden. He is so bad. He's awful. He's just god awful in this movie. He needs to go away and just die. Like I don't. Ugh, I hate him in this movie so much. I hate this movie. Go ahead, Amanda.
Okay. I mean, I'm not a fan of any of these, honestly. So I'm not gonna have much to say other than no, thank you. I mean, I saw them and I was just like glad it was over when it was over. I can also chime in about Hayden. I've seen him in films where he performs well. I've seen him in a couple of films, in particular, Life is a House and Shattered Glass, where he's very, I mean, turns in great performances. I just don't think that being an lead action star is meant for him. Maybe now he could do a better job at it, but then it just wasn't working, and it was disappointing because I was a fan of his at the time. I was actually excited to see it because of him, and then it was like, okay, never mind. That's not me saying I don't think he can act. I just don't think that his performances in these films are very good. I have seen him in other things where I felt he was actually talented. So just wanted to give him some props and not to suggest that I think he's like the worst actor of all time or anything like that.
Next movie is Cold Mountain with Jude Law, Nicole Kidman, and Renee Zellweger. I saw this movie a long time ago. The only thing that I like about, well, I'm jealous that have you seen this movie?
I have.
You know that very good kissing scene between Jude Law and Nicole Kidman on the
Yes.
porch? I'm jealous of that. Every time I watch this, I'm jealous. Fuck you, Jude Law. I'm kidding. You're a great actor. I love you, man. You're great. I don't remember how big of a role Natalie had in this movie because I've only seen it once. It's all right, but the performances in this movie are great. Jude Law's excellent in this movie. Nicole Kidman's really good. Renee Zellweger, I believe she won the Oscar for this movie. So right there, that kind of says something. Like I said, I don't remember how much of the movie Natalie was in, but I do remember that the movie is good, but it's not incredible in my opinion. I would say it's worth watching mainly for the performances, especially by Jude Law and Renee Zellweger.
I'm gonna have to chime in on the performances right up front. But, and I agree, like, there are some really spectacular performances in this film, but honestly, Natalie Portman, to me, is the standout out of everybody. Like, Renee Zellweger, honestly, she's doing a great job. There's something about her accent sometimes in this film where I felt like she was overdoing it a little bit. Everything else was, like, it seemed authentic and genuine, but sometimes I felt like, oh, pull it back just a little bit with that accent because it's kind of killing me a little bit sometimes, if that makes sense. But again, like, she's still really good in this. Natalie Portman's scenes are the most memorable aspects of this film for me. I will sometimes, like, if I'm just in the mood to get sort of inspired by one of my favorite performances, I'll look up a few clips of, some of my favorite people and just sort of motivate myself. And her scenes from Cold Mountain have been revisited a few times. Very powerful stuff. Holy crap. I don't remember if she was nominated for her small part in this, but I remember people suggesting
she wasn't nominated.
She wasn't. Okay. I remember people suggesting that she should have been nominated because her performance was like I feel like she was only in this for like a total of like 10 or 15 minutes or something. I can't remember. Someone did figure out the total runtime of her actual screen time, but the impact from her in this is it just shakes the whole film. So good, Natalie, girl, yes. And the film itself is pretty great too. There were a few things about it that made me a little disappointed. I won't go into like too much detail, but overall, it's solid. It's a solid movie.
The next movie is Closer, directed by Mike Nichols and co-stars Julia Roberts, Jude Law, and Clive Owen. This was the film that got Natalie her first Oscar nomination. She was nominated for Supporting Actress. The person that won that year, I believe, was, I don't quite remember, to be honest. I really like this movie a lot. It's Mike Nichols. You were a genius filmmaker. I miss you, man, to death. You lived a great life and you made so many great movies. This isn't my favorite film of his. I think that would go to, I don't know. I have to think about that. But I really do like this movie a lot. And Natalie's amazing in this movie. She is so good in this movie as Alice and Jane, like the dual role that she has. I love Julia Roberts in this movie. I really like Clive Owen, and I like Jude Law in this movie too. But I don't know. I would have liked to watch it again. I actually really wanted to rewatch it for this episode, but I didn't get a chance to, which is kind of sad because it was the first film. It was the film that got her first Oscar nomination. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Closer.
Closer to me, it's brilliant. I can see where some people might have issues with the film, mainly pertaining to dialogue. I watched this film with my mom, and she was like cringing in so many scenes of this film because of the way they speak to each other. And I'm like, I don't know. I think there's something to be said about it. Even I can understand why that's not someone's cup of tea, but if you're not, if you sort of desensitized yourself to hard language, then you can appreciate kind of what I feel like the filmmaker was doing. The way I always thought of the title, Closer, taking a closer look into these people's lives, it almost feels like you're too close, like you're prying into their private lives in a way that it makes you uncomfortable. Like, I shouldn't be hearing this conversation right now. I shouldn't be seeing this happening right now. And I think that that's sort of a brilliant way to make an audience feel. I mean, it is a bit uncomfortable, but at the same time, there's so many people that can watch this film and unfortunately relate to it. And I say unfortunately because honestly everything that's going on in the film is terrible. I mean, what these people are doing to each other. But at the end of the day, I just want to point out that Jude Law, his character, he caused everything. He caused all this crap to happen. I always point that out. Like, if you just because sort of domino effect of his initial action caused, all of the negative things that happened with these people's relationships after that. He's actually sort of a frustrating character for me to watch. The standout character and performance in this film is Natalie Portman. Out of everyone, I would have to give her the award, and she didn't win, but she got recognized, which I was so excited about. Julia Roberts was also fantastic. Everyone was, but Natalie just. I feel like her character was the one that you're sort of rooting for the most, at least for most people that I've watched the film with or have talked to about afterwards. They usually talk about Alice as being their favorite character, and Natalie Portman, she's the one that sort of gets you to cry in this movie, and
I agree.
yeah, she's the one that you're sort of hoping turns out, at the end, like maybe she can somehow live happily ever after all this crap.
The person that won that year was Kate Blanchett for The Aviator.
Oh, yeah.
So that's fine with me.
Yeah, I remember it was a tough one, and I watched it with my brother, and we were kind of like, we love The Aviator so much, so we were like, if Natalie doesn't win, Kate Blanchett is probably going to take it, and I mean, we'll be okay with it because she has another chance. I mean, she's so young and she's so talented. She'll be back, and we'll get to that performance here in a minute. But long story short, Closer is one of my favorite Natalie Portman films, and yeah, I recommend seeing it if you haven't. Just make sure you go into it knowing that it's not rated PG-13.
I'm so excited.
What is happening to you?
I'm so excited. Oh, wait. I have a clip right next to me. Hopefully you're able to hear it. If you're not, I apologize. This clip is from my favorite Natalie Portman movie, and that clip is about to play right now. So the next Natalie Portman movie is...
This is good. This doesn't happen often in your life, I mean, we can work this stuff out. I want to help you, We need each other. I haven't even lied in like 2 days.
Is that true?
No.
Please tell me you heard that.
I totally heard that.
Yay! As you can tell, the next movie is Garden State. Yes! I'm so excited. People, I'm gonna get this right off. I'm gonna say this right off the bat. This is my favorite Natalie Portman movie. Not my favorite performance at first, but it's my favorite Natalie Portman movie. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I adore this movie to death. Not only is it the best film that is made in my state in New Jersey, it's a great movie. It's so good. The comedy and the drama, Zach Braff's direction and script. Oh, he is a genius. He is a friggin' genius. That guy is a genius. I was just recently watching his other directorial feature, Wish I Was Here, which was a little disappointing for me, but I still really liked it. It would have been cool if Natalie Portman was in it. But it would have been cool if Natalie Portman played his wife in the movie, but the wife was portrayed very well by Kate Hudson. But no, this movie's fantastic. Zach Braff was so good in this movie. His writing, superb. His direction, solid. His script, honestly, should have been nominated for Best Original Screenplay. I would have loved it if it won, but Eternal Sunshine won that year, and I can't argue with that script. Even though I like Garden State more than Eternal Sunshine, but Eternal Sunshine, one of the best original screenplays ever written. Ever. But this script is so freaking good. Natalie Portman as Sam. Such an adorable, loving, sweet character. Her back and forth with Zach Braff's character, Andrew. Oh, it's so good. And I love when they first meet in the waiting room, and then the dog is humping Andrew's leg, and she's like, kick his balls. Kick his balls. Like, I love that. I love it. I seriously adore this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I could rewatch this movie over and over again. One of the reasons why I loved it so much is because I love Zach. I'm a big Zach Braff fan. I love Scrubs. I keep encouraging Amanda to actually watch Scrubs. And she'll probably talk about this after I finish talking about this movie. But all the cast is so good in this movie. I recently had to do like a top 10 favorite movies list for school, even though I don't really have a favorite movie of all time, I have favorites. I put this at number 3 on my top 10 movies of all time. Like, number 1 was Goodfellas, number 2 was Catch Me If You Can, and this was number 3. It's that great of a movie, and it's so underrated. I mean, yeah, a lot of people know about it now, but at the time it was so underrated, and I really wish it got more award recognition. I would have loved it if this film got Oscar nominations, especially for the script, mainly for the script. And also Zach Braff's performance, but that Best Actor category was stacked. I think we've talked about that year of Oscars so many times. We talked about that with DiCaprio and Jamie Foxx and Johnny Depp. Like, we talked about that so many times. Like, it's just... I love the soundtrack. It got me to the shins. Thank you, Zach Braff, for that. I adore this movie. I can't praise it enough. It's my favorite Natalie Portman movie. It's... What the Oh! Yay! Blah, 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 blah. That's what I usually do in that situation. He's like...
That's like my favorite part. Well, one of my favorite parts.
So go ahead. Overall, I adore this movie. I can't say it enough. It's my favorite Natalie Portman movie. Boom!
I also adore this film, Brian. I can't steal your thunder and say that it's one of my favorite movies of all time, but it would make my short list of, like, I don't know, top 100, top 50,
Okay.
maybe 50, maybe. I used to watch this with Marcus, my brother Marcus, gotta give him a shout out. This was one of his favorite movies ever. And it probably still is.
Good man.
When it came
He's a
out,
good man for that.
This was Marcus's favorite actress, if I'm not mistaken, is still Natalie Portman. He's been singing her praises for probably since Beautiful Girls, like I told you. But when this came out, he was just head over heels for Natalie. This was like the peak of, like, okay, she can do no wrong. And I just love how quirky and adorable she is in this film. I love the writing. I love, 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 love the writing in this film. There have been so many movies since this one that have kind of tried to...
Ah, shit. What happened?
No clue.
Oh, crap. You were in the middle of a good moment. You said you loved the writing so much, and then you said other films were... You were in the middle of a sentence. What were you saying about other films?
Are we still on?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just saying, I think since Garden State, and it did so well, as far as indie romances go.
Uh-huh.
Am I good?
Uh-huh.
It seems a little glitchy, sorry. Sorry, audience members.
Yeah, we're doing this over Skype, so that's why you might have heard the rain and everything, so yeah.
Technical difficulties happen once in a while, and it's no big deal. No big deal. But I just said that the overall tone and just, like, whole vibe of this film, I feel like other films have tried to mimic it since then, and they can't quite measure up. And I don't like when people go back and watch Garden State for the first time and they feel like, oh, I've seen something like this before, but they're kind of comparing it to films that have came since Garden State, and it's like, no, but Garden State kind of made this this type of movie popular. So
I agree.
Props to Zach Braff for the writing. I think he's also very charming in the movie. Some people think he's boring. I think he's...
What?
I don't know.
I will hunt you down if you say he's boring. I will...
Brian's getting so worked up.
And his direction, too. You have to give praise to his direction.
Absolutely. The writer, director, like, when I realized that, and this is honestly the first time I really had paid attention to him, I hadn't seen Scrubs. I knew he was from it, but I hadn't seen it. And speaking of Scrubs, I am going to watch it. It's not a thing that I'm putting off for any other reason other than I'm supposed to watch it with a certain person, and that first viewing party is coming up soon.
Yay!
So I will finally be introduced to the show that you've been, like, gushing over, because he's also my boyfriend. He's also a super huge fan of Scrubs.
Yay!
Anyway, Garden State, fantastic film, and I love the soundtrack. I bought the soundtrack. I was in New York, and I saw the soundtrack on sale one day, and I snagged that shit. It's so good.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. We love Garden State, can you tell?
It's My Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Because it
Yeah.
came out the same year.
I
Your
think-
favorite film that year was Eternal Sunshine. My favorite film that year was Garden State. So let's go on to the next movie. Next movie. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. The best of the prequels. Actually pretty... It's not a terrible movie. It's alright at its best. It's like... I would give it like a solid B. Like the line that Amanda said. Anakin... You're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow. Stop. Stop right now. I love you. Liar!
I felt so bad for her.
Well, it's his fault. And when he yells liar, I just crack up. Like, at first I'm like, okay, I'm laughing at this dialogue. I'm just like, but then when he yells liar, I'm like, ha! You're so bad. You're so bad, Hayden. You're so bad. But, yeah, like, this is probably the only good film in the prequel. I mean, the whole Anakin Obi-Wan fight is really intense. Now he's still... Listen, her performance is not the worst, but I can't... It's not that great of a performance either, and that's not her fault. I blame George Lucas for that. And I don't think she's ever going to work with that man again. I don't even think she's ever going to work with any of the people in these movies ever again. But, what can you do? But, it's not the worst of the prequels. I actually like this movie. I don't love it like I do with the original Star Wars films. But I would still say that it's not awful. It's just alright at its best. Go ahead, Amanda.
I honestly won't have much to say because those three Star Wars films, they all run together in my head, and I can't really like distinguish which parts came from what. Like, obviously earlier you heard me say the wrong thing for both of them, so I don't know that I remember which one I liked the most. I saw this one, and the thing that I obviously remember the most from it is her line that you just so beautifully quoted, Bryan. But it wasn't something that left that much of an impact on me or that I thought was like great or anything like that. So we can move along.
Yeah, the next movie is some film called Free Zone. It was shot in Israel and Jordan, and the funny thing is, Natalie Portman's actually Israel. She's part of the Israel descent. She's the only well-known actor in this movie. Then there's some two Israel actresses. So I never heard this movie until I was researching her films. So yeah,
Which one?
it's called Free Zone. Free like FREEZONE. Have you heard this?
Is this the one where she cries for like?
I don't know. I never saw it. How would I know?
There's some movie that I haven't seen with her where she apparently cries in a scene for like 5 minutes straight.
I wouldn't know.
It's just a moment of her crying. I feel like it's not this. I feel like it might be My Blueberry Nights or something like that. But I haven't seen this, and I don't know what it is. So.
Next movie's a great one. V for Vendetta.
Woohoo.
Yay! Yay. Okay, seeing her with a shaved head is one of the most creepy is one of the strangest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Because she's such a beautiful woman, then her head gets shaved, and you're like, ugh, where did the beautiness go?
Oh, come on.
No, she has that beautiful face and everything, but I like it better when she has the hair.
Of course.
This movie's not her movie. Yeah, she's a main character in the movie, but the movie is stealed by Hugo friggin' Weaving. I love that man so much. He is like the best thing in everything he's in. Like, he is so good in everything. He's like in all these popular geek movies. Matrix, Lord of the Rings, V for Vendetta, Captain America, The First Avenger, the Transformers movies. He's like the best thing about the Transformers movies, even though they're all crap. He's the best thing about those movies because he plays Megatron. So, yes! I love this movie. This movie's great. When the first time I saw it, like, I heard about it so many times and I thought it was from the Wachowskis. At the time, they were brothers, but now, since one of them's no longer a man, you can't say that they're brothers anymore.
How did I not realize this happened?
Okay. It's a very well directed movie. It's so good. It's a really intense movie. It's not for everybody. I can tell you that right off the bat. But it is really, really good. Mainly for Natalie Portman and Hugo Weaving. They're both so good in this movie. But like I said, Hugo Weaving is the king in this movie. He is genius in this movie. And I recommend it to anyone who's fans of Wachowskis. Bless you.
That was actually a cough.
Oops, it sounded like a sneeze from the Skype conversation. But yeah, go
My
ahead. Give your
sneeze is
Please give your thoughts on V for
My
Vendetta.
thoughts. My thoughts. I think it's a cool film. I saw this in the theater.
I wish I saw it in the
I'm
theater.
very much intrigued. I'm sorry, Brian. You were too young.
Yes, I was 8 when this came
I was very
out.
much intrigued by the fact that her head was shaved, and I knew it was for a film, and I had seen pictures of her and stuff. And so I was excited to see what film it was that she shaved all of her hair off for. And I mean, it's super cool, this film. And obviously, she's brilliant in her role. I mean, and she's crying again. Natalie Portman cries a lot in her movies. There's actually a YouTube video, you should look it up, Natalie Portman crying, and it's just a bunch
I'll look that up after we finish this
scenes
episode.
strung together, her crying. And she, to me, like, she's the Leonardo DiCaprio. The crying, like, the female version of DiCaprio is Natalie Portman. They both cry so well, and almost in every film that they're in. Yeah, but again, I think it's a cool film. It's not like one of my. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I thought it was pretty rad.
Pretty rad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's like one of my absolute favorites when it comes to this type of film, but it's different. It's different from your average, like, was this comic or what's
graphic
it called?
novel?
Graphic novel. There you go. Gotta be accurate. Gotta be correct.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I like that it felt different, and Hugo Weaving is pretty. He's pretty badass. I agree with that.
So the next movie is a film called Goya's Ghost with Javier Bardem, and Stellan Skarsgård. It's from Miles Forman, the guy who brought us One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Amadeus, The People vs. Larry Flynn. And Man on the Moon. He's brought us a lot of movies. I actually haven't seen this movie. I do like Miles Forman. I really like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Honestly, I'm one of those few people who thinks Amadeus is incredibly boring. I really like The People vs. Larry Flynn, and I actually really like Man on the Moon. It's one of Jim Carrey's best performances. But no, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this movie, and it doesn't really sound like a movie that's my cup of tea. Even though I like the director. Have you seen this movie?
I have not. I do know that she cries a lot in this one too, because it's in clips from this movie or in that video that I told you to watch.
Got it.
That YouTube video.
Got it.
That's all I know about it, is that she cries a lot.
Alright, so the next movie is a film called My Blueberry Nights. Her, David Strathairn, Rachel Weisz, Jude Law, and Nora Jones. And I hate the poster. I'm so jealous of the poster. Because it's her and Jude Law kissing. It's like the Fallen Our Stars poster where the guy's upside down and the girl's facing toward.
Fuck
you, Jude Law! What the hell? You get to kiss every fucking gorgeous woman! I haven't seen this movie. So I can't comment. The only movie I ever saw with Nora Jones was Ted.
I have seen most of this movie. By the way, that is Jude Law kissing Nora Jones. You realize this, right?
Yeah, I said Nora Jones.
Oh, okay.
And Nora Jones looks incredibly attractive in the poster.
I thought that you thought it was Natalie.
No. I know it's not Natalie. Natalie's not even the first name listed on the poster. The first name listed is Nora Jones, and then it's Jude Law.
Shut your face. Okay, wait.
What?
Yeah, I've seen
Why'd you tell me to say... What the hell? Why'd you do that?
Can't we banter sometimes?
Sure. Go ahead, give your thoughts on this movie, even though you only said you've seen it. Some of it.
I have seen it. I just feel like, for some reason, I can't remember everything about it, which might not be a good thing, but I remember it being really interesting to me. I don't think this is the one where she cries for like 5 minutes straight on the subway or the bus or whatever, but I remember Natalie had a scene in this. Something to do with like a poker game or like... I just remember there is a moment in this movie where she steals the show from everyone who ever even thought of trying to steal the show in this movie. It was like,
Hmm.
never mind, everyone can go home now. Natalie Portman just did her thing. That being said, I thought Nora Jones was actually pretty good, being that she's not really known for, acting. She's a singer.
Like I said,
I
the only
thought
thing I saw her in was Ted. That's it.
Oh, I forgot she was in that. But yeah, My Blueberry Nights might not be a perfect film, but I think it is at least interesting. And I thought that it was beautifully shot, and I remember that much at least. But Natalie has a moment in this movie where it's just like, damn. And I can't even remember what
Damn.
it is. I just remember reacting that way.
I love the way you said damn. Say it again.
Damn.
There you go. Okay, so the next movie it's not a big role, but it is a key role to the film, and that's the Darjeeling Limited. This film is directed by Wes Anderson, stars Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody, and Jason Schwartzman. She plays Jack's ex-girlfriend, and Jack is played by Jason Schwartzman. I this is this is the worst Wes Anderson film I've seen so far. It's not awful, but it's not great in my opinion. It's very slow and it drags on, but I do love these three performances. I love Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody as and Jason Schwartzman as brothers. I think they work very well as three really insane brothers, and Natalie Portman for the role that she did, she was very good in. But it's not like that memorable of a film in my opinion. There are some Wes Anderson fans I know who love this movie. I just don't think it's that great of a movie. There are a few of his films that I still have to see. But this is one that I don't exactly care for personally. I feel like Marcus and I talked about this movie one time. I don't know. I have that feeling. I don't
Yeah,
quite.
I was about to bring up Marcus, actually. You guys talked about this. We were talking on Skype. I don't know if it was on an episode of anything. I think it was just when we were hanging out. But we brought up Wes Anderson, and he doesn't like this one. He said he fell asleep on it. He went to see it in the theater, and he just couldn't deal with it, so he went to sleep.
Yeah, I was
I
falling
haven't
asleep
seen
too,
it.
to be quite honest.
I have not seen this one, so I can't really comment at all. As far as Wes Anderson films go, the Moonrise Kingdom is my favorite, and
Really?
I mean, I don't always love everything he does, but there have been a few that I actually did love. Marcus has let me know though that this probably wouldn't be one of them. So
I mean, it's not like it's
see
not
it.
like
I'll see
awful.
one
It's
day.
just very it's very
Yeah.
hit or miss.
I mean, I want to see all of his movies, Wes Anderson. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's
see
why I
it
watched it. That's why I watched it because
because you wanted to see them all.
yeah, and I love these three actors. They're so good. Like he knows how to get the performances from his actors, and that's the best thing about the movie. It's Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody, and Jason Schwartzman. Anyway, I want to briefly bring up Jason Schwartzman, the guy who gave me the computer that I have right now that we're Skyping from at Apple at the Genius Bar. He looks and sounds so much like Jason Schwartzman. He has literally a beard like him. It's insane. And I don't know why, but the funny is, the day I got the computer, I was watching Moonrise Kingdom earlier that day, so maybe that's why I thought it was Jason Schwartzman. Then when I brought this computer to get fixed, because at one point it was going crazy, the same guy was there, and I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking Jason Schwartzman. It's like, oh, it looks so much like him. It's insane. Like, it's really
I'm
insane.
sorry, it's not really him.
Yeah, I know, but Jason Schwartzman's cool. He's cool, Jason Schwartzman. Okay, so the next movie is my least favorite Natalie Portman movie, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. This movie sucks. It sucks. And Amanda, let me ask you something quickly. You watched all of Breaking Bad, right?
I did.
Do you remember in the last season, this brief little spoiler, do you remember when Walt went to that cabin and that was the movie that he had there?
I do remember.
You
that.
do remember that?
I remember that.
I remember.
Yeah.
I was watching the episode, and then when he said Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, I'm like, really? That's the movie that you have there? That's the movie that's there in that cabinet? And 2 copies of it?
I felt like they tried to be super random with the film selection for that.
It's the best thing that's ever mentioned in that movie. So that's saying much because Breaking Bad's fucking amazing. But no, this movie really is really stupid. I remember seeing this when I was younger. I saw this in the theater, and it was really. I honestly, I didn't like it when I was a kid. I didn't like it when I was younger either. And I was 9 years old when this came out. And I remember this movie came out around the time that Enchanted came out. Do you remember that movie, Enchanted?
Yes.
And Enchanted is such a good movie, but Mr. Megorium is so shitty. And Dustin Hoffman plays like a 200-year-old man. And I love Dustin Hoffman to death. and I love Natalie Portman, but she has like a boyish haircut in this movie, which I don't like. And then Jason Bateman's in this movie, and he's not good either, and I love that dude too. But like, it's just so dumb. It's so bad. Like ugh, it's awful. Even kids wouldn't like it. I was a kid when I saw this, and I didn't even like it. It sucks. The end.
Brian,
Yes, Amanda.
I don't want to disappoint you, but this is actually my favorite Natalie Portman film.
I know you're being sarcastic.
I've never actually seen it, so I
Oh,
can't.
good for you. You're saving yourself.
It's my favorite. No, I never saw this, and I mean, I don't imagine I'll be seeing it anytime soon.
Okay, let's go to the next movie. The next movie is a film called The Other Boleyngir.
The other Boleyngir girl.
Yes, her.
Scarlett.
Scarlett. I love you, Scarlett. And Eric Bana's in it too. Have I seen this? No, I actually haven't seen this. But I do love Scarlett. Please tell me there's a kissing scene in this movie between them.
Between them, no.
Well, actually, this came out the same year as Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Yeah. I've seen some of this movie. It's okay. I wouldn't necessarily even recommend this. I thought I was going to like this a lot more, and it was kind of cool to be like, oh, Natalie Portman versus Scarlett Johansson, ultimately, because they're like pretty much around the same age, and a lot of people have praised them. Though I think Natalie Portman wins hands down. Not in this film necessarily. I mean, she probably does. I don't remember. I just thought it was blah. But just in life, she's my favorite when it comes to her actresses around her age, like early 30s. I feel like Natalie's like she's the one to beat.
Yeah.
But
Like,
Scarlett, I feel like Scarlett was.
Scarlett.
She was probably pretty decent in this. She's hit or miss for me, but and this
I get it. She can be hit or miss. Mainly her movies, but lately she's been good in pretty much everything she's in. Did you see Under the Skin?
If we ever do a Joaquin Phoenix episode, which I have a feeling we might be, we can talk about her, and I will give Scarlett some praises for that one. But speaking of back to Natalie in this film, I mean, like, blah. It's okay. I saw some of it, and I was kind of like bored a little, and also a little disappointed with just the film itself. I was expecting more, but she cries in this. Surprise! She cries. She cries very well. What's the next film?
The next movie is a film called The Other Woman, and this is not that movie, The Other Woman, with Cameron Diaz that came out last year. So incredibly shitty. Now, this film stars her and Lisa Kudrow, aka Phoebe from Friends. I have not seen this movie. I didn't even know there was another movie called The Other Woman. The only movie I knew that was called The Other Woman was the movie that came out last year with Cameron Diaz, which, like I said, it sucks. Have you seen this movie?
I have not, but I think it might be on Netflix. I think it was.
I didn't check, so I wouldn't.
I think it was on Netflix at some point not too long ago, and I thought about watching it because I haven't seen it yet. So I might check tonight, and maybe if it's there, I might sneak peek.
Cool. The next movie is an ensemble film called New York, I Love You. Oh, wow, look who's in it with her. Hayden Christensen.
She worked with someone from the film.
But I don't know if they had any scenes. Wait, who else is in this? Wow. Bradley Cooper, Hayden Christensen, Andy Garcia, Rachel Bilson, Natalie Portman, Orlando Bloom, Christina Ricci, Maggie Q, Ethan Hawke, James Caan, Drea DeMaio, John Hurt, Shia LaBeouf, we all call him Shia LaBeouf, Robin Wright, Eli Wallach, and yeah. And it says Natalie Portman directed one of the skits in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know if she directed the one that she is in. I have seen
I have to look at that. I'll look at that right now.
Some of the shorts from this. I haven't watched all of them, I don't think. But I'm not going to lie. This is not her best.
No, she wasn't in the short that she directed.
Okay. Well, the one that she actually performs in, not her best work. There's an accent that she's trying to do
Oh, it's her and Irfan Khan.
in the one she's performing in.
Yes.
Okay. She's doing an accent. I don't remember what accent. I can't remember, but it was not authentic enough to pass. I'm sorry.
That's totally fine.
I absolutely love her, as you know, and it pains me to say that maybe she isn't perfect, but yeah, this wasn't her strongest at all. And the film as a whole, because this is kind of like Paris, I Love You, and this was the version, another version of that, New York, I Love You, and it was not as good as Paris, I Love You. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I never
Paris,
saw that.
But yeah, the New York, I Love You films, there were a lot of them that I just didn't like, and hers was one of them. I don't remember which one she directed, but I guess I was just thrown off by the accent, and it didn't last very long. It wasn't very long, so it was okay. Yeah, I don't recommend this film. I don't recommend it.
Okay, so let's go to an actual good movie, if you even seen it. The next movie is a film called Brothers. This stars her, Tobey Maguire, and my boy Jake Gyllenhaal. I would say watch this movie just for the performances. Tobey Maguire is amazing in this movie. He is incredible in this movie. He was nominated for a Golden Globe. I think he should have been nominated for an Oscar. Jake Gyllenhaal was great in this movie too. He's fucking Jake Gyllenhaal. We gotta do an episode on him soon. We should. Oh yeah, his new movie comes out in 2 weeks. Wow.
Brian's trying to plant a seed.
And he's married to my one of my babes, Rachel McAdams.
What?
In Southpaw.
Wait, what?
In the Southpaw, his new movie. Rachel
He's
McAdams.
married to Rachel McAdams in the movie.
Yes. Did you think I said? Do you know
I
who
thought
Rachel?
you meant,
Wait,
like-
briefly on Rachel McAdams. Do you know who she's dating right now?
I thought you meant like they were married.
No.
And I was like, holy crap! What have I?
No.
Rachel McAdams is one of my.
Do you want to know who she's dating right now? And this is really pissing me off. She's
I feel
dating.
Like it's somebody.
She's dating Taylor Kish.
Who's that?
Taylor Kish, her co-star on True Detective. Taylor Kish from Friday Night Lights, Battleship, Lone Survivor, John Carter, Savages.
Wow, I've literally seen none of the stuff that
Look him up as I give my thoughts on this movie.
Because I haven't seen True Detective yet, so.
That is true, and ironically, they're not a couple on True Detective. So, I mean, I think they're dating. I read somewhere that they are. I don't know if they're still together, but I'm not entirely sure. But I really like Brothers. I think that Natalie was really good in this movie. She played Tobey Maguire's wife, and what happened was Tobey Maguire's a soldier, and everyone thought that he was killed. So what happened was Jake Gyllenhaal took care. Jake Gyllenhaal plays Tobey Maguire's brother, and he basically takes care of Natalie Portman and her 2 kids, and they sort of have a relationship. I'm gonna say that, but then when they find out that Tobey Maguire's alive, he comes home and he goes fucking insane as fuck. If you watch the trailer for this movie, you'll see a little bit of that insanity inside Tobey Maguire. But it's worth watching for the performances. It's a good movie. It's a remake of some movie called Broad Day, which I think might be Brothers in a different language. And yeah, it's a really good movie. Did you look up Taylor Kish yet?
I did.
Do you know who he is?
He was in Savages?
Yes.
I saw Savages, so I recognize his face. Anyway.
Go ahead. Give your thoughts on this movie.
He's gotta date someone.
Yeah, but not Taylor Kish. He's a wooden actor. Just like Hayden Christensen. But Taylor Kish is better than Hayden Christensen. I will give him that. The only good movies that Taylor Kish was ever in was Savages and The Normal Heart. And Lone Survivor.
Calm down.
Go ahead, Amanda. Give your thoughts on Brothers.
Brian starting to rant about Taylor. I saw Brothers in the theater. Overall, I think it's pretty good. Performances are probably better than the film as a whole. There were like aspects about the film that kind of felt a little like, I don't know, it didn't really work for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it's a decent film with really great performances. Tobey Maguire surprised me here. He played a character that I hadn't really seen him do anything like that before. So that was fun. And Natalie, of course, is crying in this one again.
Yes, but that's understandable because she thinks her
Of course,
husband
I'm
is
not.
dead.
I'm just like pointing out that
And she cries because she got to, and she cries with tears of joy because she got to kiss Jake Gyllenhaal.
Not that it's a bad thing that she cries. The thing is, she cries so well. I feel like these people, when they're casting the film, like, this character cries a lot. Natalie Portman, let's get Natalie.
And not Claire Danes because she has a terrible crying face.
But yeah, she's fantastic in this film as well. Jake Gyllenhaal is also good. Bailey Madison is great in this movie. The daughter, the one that's like mad all the time.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little mixed on her.
Okay, well, I met her, and she's very sweet.
I'm sure she is really nice.
I liked her from Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh, she was really good in that movie. She was really good in that.
Right. And I thought she was really good in Brothers as well. I've seen her only in a few things, but everything I've seen her, I feel like she's she reminds me of Natalie in the sense of, wow, she can really convey emotions very well for such a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where her career takes her. But I wanted to point out that I thought Bailey Madison deserved a shout out for her performance in this. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's pretty good.
Okay. So the next movie on Natalie Portman's filmography is a film called Hesher.
Right.
It's with her, Rainn Wilson, and my boy Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I haven't seen this movie. I love JGL. I love that man. If I went gay, I would love to be with that man. I'm just saying that right now. He's my man crush. Listen, he's a genius. I love JGL. He's so good, and he better get an Oscar nomination this year for when he's going to be in Snowden. I don't think he's going to get one for The Walk, where he has a very strange French accent in. But, I like the poster. I like the rock and roll format, and him. I like the black and white, and him smoking a cigarette. I like that very much. Yeah. I'm going to check this movie out when I can, because I'll watch anything with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I think maybe Hesher is also on Netflix. I remember it was on there at one point when I was looking up Natalie Portman on Netflix. I'm pretty sure that and the other woman was there. So I'm going to check and see if it's still there tonight because I have been wanting to see it. I know that it got mixed reviews, but there have been a couple of people I know that watched it that actually really enjoyed it. That being said, I will be watching this despite anything anyone says just because I am a fan of Natalie and let's say Jake Gyllenhaal. No. JGL, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, is one of my favorite males in the business. He is fantastic. He's so talented, so versatile, and he's also just seems like a really genuine guy, really funny. And I've always thought, like, if I could hang out with anybody, we would probably get along. I have it in my head, at least, that we would get along really well. We'd be like best friends.
And now in Snowden, his girlfriend is played by my babe Shailene Woodley.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's exciting. Well, anyway, I haven't seen Hesher, but I do want to see it because two of my favorite peeps are in this film. So we'll try and check it out soon.
So the next movie we get to probably the best performance she's ever given, and that is Black Swan as Nina. The film is directed by the one and only Mr. Darren Aronofsky. Requiem for a Dream, Pi, The Wrestler, and Noah. This guy, he's one of my favorite filmmakers working today. I pretty much loved everything he's done. I didn't love Noah like I wanted to, but I really, really liked it. This isn't my favorite film of his, but The Wrestler was my favorite film, and that also happens to be one of the best films that takes place in New Jersey. Black Swan, I recently rewatched this. I send you a pic of it. This is seriously the best performance she's ever given. This is one of the most intense movies I've ever watched in my entire life. Watching it this past week was the second time I ever saw it, because the last time I saw it was when it came out, and that was 5 years ago. That was the last time I ever saw it, and I was just getting into watching R-rated movies, so it was weird watching Black Swan at that age. But now that I'm 17, it's better and you understand it more, and it's. I mean, listen, people, gentlemen, listen out there, and possibly some ladies. There is one scene in this movie that a lot of gentlemen and maybe some ladies like to talk about because it is the scene where I'm like I'm like gasping, but at the same time I'm like smiling, and Amanda knows what scene I'm talking about. But I'm sure everyone knows what scene we're talking about.
Right now, you are blushing. It's funny.
But I really do. I love Black Swan. It's a great movie. It was one of the best films of 2010. Natalie Portman won every single award out there for this particular movie. Even if you don't like this movie, you have to agree that Natalie Portman was amazing in this movie. She played such a different role. This is a scary performance from her. Just the obsession of wanting to be the Black Swan, the Swan Queen. Like, it's just so insane. And, I mean, you got a great cast alongside. You got Vincent Cassel, you got the beautiful Mila Kunis, and you got Winona Ryder, one of my friend's favorite actresses, if not her favorite. Even though I mock Winona Ryder for what she did in The Crucible, those fucking eyes. Those damn eyes. And she was very subtle in this movie because she wasn't in this movie that much. So, but I liked her role in this movie. I did like her role in this movie.
She is amazing. Winona Ryder is amazing.
But let me finish talking about this movie. You're basically on the edge of your seat the entire time. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen. And Barbara Hershey, too, I forgot, who plays Nina's mom, was also killer in this movie. Mila Kunis should have been nominated for an Oscar for this movie. I thought she was so good in this movie. I think she was snubbed. I don't think they wanted to nominate her because this was shortly after That 70s Show ended, so they didn't want to nominate Jackie Burkhardt for no reason. Oh, yeah, congratulations, Mila. You just got married to Ashton Kutcher. Congratulations. Yay. But, and Vincent Cassel was intense as fuck in this movie. As, Tomei, even though it's spelled Thomas. The performances in this movie are just out of control. The writing is really good. Darren Aronofsky's direction is solid. He was nominated for every director award for this movie. The film was also nominated for Best Picture. It lost to The King's Speech. I remember that being a great year for cinema. That was basically the year where I got into film. And at the time, before the Oscars, I've seen every Best Picture nominee except for Winter's Bone. I've seen it since, but that was the only Best Picture nominee I didn't see before the Oscars. Because Winter's Bone looked boring as fuck to me. Even though my babe J. Law's in it. At that time, I didn't really know much about her, so whatever. But this movie is worth seeing just for Natalie Portman's performance, and for gentlemen, it's worth for that scene. But seriously, it is a really good movie. It's really good. It's my favorite Natalie Portman performance. It's the best performance she's ever given. It's not my favorite film of hers, but it's up there with the best films that she's ever done. And I really hope to see her and Darren collaborate again. And her Oscar speech, so cute. She was preggo at that time, so when she was being walked up by her boyfriend at the time, and now they're married. And the funny thing is, she actually met her husband on the set of Black Swan, because he helped her with the dancing. And by the way, she lost a lot of weight for this movie, and she was muscular as fuck for this movie. So, yeah, it's a great movie. It's intense as fuck, but it's great. Go ahead, Amanda. Would you consider this her best performance ever?
Yes, I would. I would consider this one of the best female performances in the last
decade. It's one of the best of the decade so far.
She would be in like top 3 if I were making a list of that.
Of the decade so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, she would be in the top 3.
She's the whole film for me. Performance aside is brilliant, but like obviously her performance just makes it just like through the roof. I saw this in the theater twice.
2 times.
Because after I saw it the first time, I insisted like I have to experience that one more time on the big screen. I was floored. I just remember this being one of those moments for me after the film ends. I wanted to stand up and just got like a standing ovation and give her that standing ovation that she wanted so much in this film. But that's how I felt. Like, wow, wow, wow. Just, I didn't, I, all of the feelings that this conjured up inside of me. There was so much, like my mouth is hanging open for half the film, and I'm just like, it's really intense. So the whole time you're kind of like, it just keeps building and building and building on that, and more moments of just like intensity on top of another, and the whole time I'm just still in awe of what she's doing, scene after scene after scene. This is one of those movies where literally the next scene that follows the one before just gets more. Holy crap! So, Natalie Portman, this is my favorite film of yours, darling. It's my favorite film of hers, and it's also my favorite performance. I just remember saying after it went off, I remember I texted one of my friends, I was like, this is why I do what I do. Because the way she affected me watching her in this, the way the film affected me, the director, the writing, the music, the choreography, the story, and obviously above all that performance. I mean, and everyone performed extremely well in this, and I love seeing Winona Ryder in this role. She was perfect. I thought Winona Ryder was the perfect choice for that character, especially the whole idea of her being sort of a has-been in a way, and she's kind of trying to still be relevant. And I feel like, in a sense, that could be what she's feeling in real life. You know, Winona Ryder used to be the shit. She used to be like, you know, the it girl. And I just thought it was, you know, it made sense for her to play that part. That being said, I still love Winona, no matter what. But yeah, dude, like, this movie is one of my favorite movies ever made. And I just remember when it went off, Marcus and I could not stop. We just could not stop talking about it. We were, like, I can, like, even now just thinking about it, it's hard for me to find the words to really describe, like, why it's so great. But, I mean, it's just one of those movies, you have to see it. If you haven't seen it, like, why haven't you seen this yet? It's just so hard-hitting, and it's, you know, this is one of those films that, knowing the amount of work that went into making it and the amount of training that both Natalie and Mila went through to perfect these roles. I mean, Natalie dedicated herself to this part. And I know it was sort of like 10 years in the making. I remember Darren saying that he had the idea for this movie 10 years before they even shot it. He told Natalie about it, and sort of like, she was like, yeah, that sounds great. And then, you know, years pass, and she comes back to him. She's like, so whatever happened to that ballerina script that you told me about? And so he brought it back up and finished writing it and turned it into what it is, and I just think it's perfect. It's brilliant. The end.
Alright, so the next movie on the Natalie Portman... Oh, actually, wait a minute. No. Yeah, let's go to this film, actually. Okay, so the next film on Natalie Portman's filmography is...
Finally, alone.
Thaddeus,
Yes?
I've not been able to stop thinking of you.
What a coincidence. I was just about to finish thinking of you.
It's just a reaction that makes me laugh. The next film is Your Highness. This film stars Danny McBride, James Franco, Natalie Portman, and Zooey Deschanel. This is a pretty dumb movie. It's so dumb. A lot of critics don't like this movie, and actually, this is the end. James Franco and Danny McBride made a joke. They're like, how about we do not do a sequel to Your Highness? So, yeah, Your Highness is really dumb, but it's so cheesy. Natalie is so... First of all, she's really attractive in this movie, and Danny McBride falls for her. And why wouldn't he? She's gorgeous. It makes sense. But no, this movie is really, really silly, and I love Danny McBride, so I'll watch that guy in anything. He's always the scene stealer and everything. He was my favorite actor in This is the End. I loved him on Eastbound and Down. I loved him in 30 Minutes or Less. He's so funny. He's one of my favorite comedic actors working today. I love James Franco in comedies, and I thought he was fine in this role. Natalie Portman was entertaining enough for this role, and Zooey Deschanel was alright at her best. And this was shortly before Amanda's favorite show, New Girl, came on. So, yeah, it's pretty cheesy and everything, but it's kind of paying homage to the medieval movies in a stoner type way. Yeah, it's silly, but it's not that good. Yeah, that's it. Amanda, what do you think of this movie if you've seen it?
I've only seen parts of it. The parts that I saw had me cracking up just because it was so ridiculous. I assumed that if I tried to watch the whole film, I might be like, okay. But it's kind of fun to see these actors just having a good time. I mean, there's a few of them that I'm already a fan of, like pretty much everyone. And there's, Franco and what's his face?
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride. Oh my gosh, I love Danny McBride. He's hilarious. Eastbound and Down. That show is killer. It makes me just die laughing. So I mean, just seeing them be ridiculous is entertaining, even if it's not like that great when it comes to comedies or that smart. It's just it doesn't really have much of a brain, but sometimes you can just turn your brain off, I guess, and enjoy this kind of thing. I do remember Natalie's butt was in this movie.
Yes, her butt was in this movie. And it was a great moment for us gentlemen.
That's one of the things that I remembered about it. Just because, I mean, everyone talked about that, of course. Because we're all shallow human beings. Anyway, I haven't seen it, though, so, I mean, I've only seen parts.
Okay, so the next movie is No Strings Attached, directed by the great Ivan Reitman, who brought us Caddyshack, Meatballs, Kindergarten Cop, and Ghostbusters. This film stars her and Ashton Kutcher, and it's funny because actually this movie came out before Your Highness, which I forgot, and this movie came out after Black Swan, so it's funny how, she basically worked with Mila Kunis, who's now Ashton Kutcher's wife, and Ashton Kutcher basically worked with Natalie Portman, which is very weird because Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman are, like, really good friends in real life, so, like, it's so weird. This movie's okay. It's alright. I know a lot of people give Ashton Kutcher hate for whenever he's in movies, which I don't get. He's not the best actor, but he's not an awful actor. I mean, yeah, I prefer watching him in comedies than dramas. I do like The Butterfly Effect, though, personally. And even though he wasn't... The Steve Jobs movie he did wasn't very good, he was actually he was the best thing about that movie. Because he actually portrayed Steve Jobs really well. But I think Michael Fassbender's going to portray him better in the upcoming Steve Jobs movie. But yeah, the movie's fine, but the funny thing is, it came out the same year as Friends with Benefits, which had Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake. And a lot of people seem to say that this movie's better. I like Friends with Benefits more, personally, than this one. I think Friends with Benefits, because I love Justin Timberlake so much, and Mila Kunis, the fact that they're working together makes it much better. But, this movie's fine for what it is. It's not one of Ivan Reitman's best movies. I actually didn't know that he directed it until I saw it I saw it when it came out, but I was just starting to get into movies then. I knew that he made Ghostbusters, and that was the only thing I think I saw that he made at the time. Oh, wait, no, wait a minute. Did I say he directed Caddyshack?
You might have said that.
He didn't direct that. I meant to say Stripes. Oops.
Oh.
Harold Ramis directed Caddyshack. Sorry. Well, it's just he worked with Bill Murray so much, that's why I got confused. So yeah, No Strings Attached is just alright.
Yeah, I mean, I saw No Strings Attached, and I was gonna bring up Friends with Benefits, actually, because I remember they came out the same year, and they were similar storylines. I saw them both, and I preferred Friends with Benefits. I thought it was funnier, and I thought it worked better. And I mean, not just because I'm a Justin Timberlake fan or anything, but it was, I mean, I guess that's another reason why I enjoyed Friends with Benefits. That being said, No Strings Attached wasn't terrible or anything. I mean, it fit. I mean, it was decent for the type of movie.
I love the poster because of
So-
Natalie. Look at the poster for No strings attached. As you
Isn't
keep
she, like,
talking.
walking across the room with like a shirt. Like
Yes, and no
Yeah.
pants and no no panties.
I thought that her chemistry with Ashton Kutcher was it was okay. It wasn't. I don't know. And I don't not dislike Ashton Kutcher. Actually, I mean, I think he's a pretty cool guy, and I don't mind seeing him in anything really. He's funny to me. I mean, sometimes I think sometimes he can maybe annoy people a little bit or something, but I don't know. It doesn't bother me. But I mean, the movie's okay. I don't really have that much more to say about it. I thought Friends with Benefits worked a little more though.
Okay. So the next movie is Thor. Brother. Another. Thor. She plays the love interest, Jane Foster. Chris Hemsworth, if you're out there, buddy. I love you, man. But Natalie Portman, you kissed her on the hand, which is totally fine, but then she basically made out with you. I need that long hair, the blonde hair, and the beard, and the abs, and the hammer to be like Thor. But I really like Thor. It's not one of my favorite Marvel movies. I love Chris Hemsworth as Thor. I liked Natalie Portman in the movie. I thought she played a good love interest to him. It's not the best movie. I prefer the second film, which we'll talk about shortly. Because this one has so many freaking Dutch angles because it's directed by Kenneth Branagh. And if you ever see a Kenneth Branagh film, he usually has Dutch angles in his movies. Except for Cinderella. He only had one Dutch angle in that movie. And it was a really laughable moment with Dutch angles because it was like a pan-in shot. So that's what made it so funny. If you saw Cinderella, you know what scene I'm talking about. But I do like Thor. I think Natalie's good in the movie. But it's mainly Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston who steal the show for me. Especially Tom Hiddleston. Because Loki is amazing. Yeah, I like Thor, but I prefer the sequel more, which we'll be talking about shortly.
I liked Thor as well. I have not seen the sequel, so oops, I already spoiled that.
Well, actually, that's our next movie, by the way.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I did like Thor. I thought it was pretty good, and I liked seeing Kat Dennings in this. I'm a fan of her.
What? She's the worst. She's so bad.
I
love her.
I
I love her, but she's like the jokes that she has are not that funny.
I liked her in this. She was
maybe the first thing she said when she tasered Tim was funny, but after that it was just bad joke after another.
No.
She's really pretty. She's really pretty.
I don't even remember much of what she was saying. I just remember enjoying her, and I always enjoy her. She is very pretty. She has nice boobs. Oops, you can edit that out. Oops.
No, that is a fact. Now, no, you could say that, but if I say that, then that's a problem.
But I just wanted to mention her because I think she's great in this film in life. And on her Instagram account and on her Twitter, she's hilarious.
She does have a good Instagram account. I will say that.
But yeah, I thought Natalie was pretty in this. She's so pretty.
And she's so short too. She's so tiny. We never brought that up. She's so tiny.
She really is, especially next to him. I only saw this once. I saw it in the theater. I saw it the one time, but I did like it. I remember my roommate did not like it, and I was like, "What? That was good. Why don't you like it?" But I did not see Thor 2 or whatever it's called. So
but you obviously saw Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron.
Go ahead and talk about it. I haven't seen it.
What, Thor 2? Okay, next film was Thor: The Dark World. I did see this. I remember going on Thursday night to see it. Like I've been doing pretty much every Marvel movie since Iron Man 3. And I'm going to see Ant-Man on Thursday, so I'm so fucking pumped for that. I'm so excited to review that movie. I can't wait. I do like the sequel slightly more. The sequel is actually really good, even though critics like the first one more. Alan Taylor did a good job directing this. He's directed a bunch of episodes of Game of Thrones, which I'm currently binge-watching right now. I'm hoping to finish Season 1 tomorrow, on Sunday. I only have 2 more episodes left, of Season 1, and then I have 40 more episodes left of the entire show, Natalie had a bigger role in this, because since most of this took place on Asgard, which is good, because I actually like it better when they're on Asgard than they are on Earth. Something happens to her in this movie. She doesn't die or anything, I'm just gonna say that right now. But, her character goes through something. And Amanda, do you have stars
I don't.
I'll.
You asked me this last episode.
Oh, I asked you if you had HBO. Oh wait. Oh yeah, I did. That's right.
Yeah.
Because
I
I was asking if you didn't, if you saw what the hell was the film? Monster University. That's right. So yeah, I like Thor 2. I don't love it, but I really had a lot of fun with it. And Loki was the scene stealer in this movie. Everything he said was hilarious. He's such a great villain. He's one of the best villains in any movie of this decade so far. He's one of the best comic book villains we have. He's not like the Joker great, but he's so entertaining and he's so menacing, and you just love that guy. Like, you're like, oh, I want to hate Loki, but at the same time, I'm like, he's so cool and he's so awesome and everything. And Tom Hiddleston's great, so like, yeah, I like Thor 2. Yeah, and that's her most recent film. And then we have 4 films of hers to talk about after this. So one of them is called Knight of Cups. This film is directed by the strangest filmmaker ever, and his name is Terrence Malick. He's known for making probably the best looking films ever, but his films are so like hit or miss. Um, this film stars her, Christian Bale, and Kate Blanchett. And Christian Bale is in a love triangle. Well, why wouldn't you be? Kate Blanchett and Natalie Portman? I would be in a love triangle like that. Did you ever see the trailer for this, Amanda?
What's it called again?
It's called Knight of Cups.
I think my roommate showed it to me. He's a Terrence Malick like fanatic. He loves it's like his favorite director.
Really? That's shocking.
Yeah, he loves pretty much everything he's ever done. I don't know if I saw this or not. Tell me what happens in it. I know I saw the one with Rachel McAdams.
Oh, that movie was bad. That movie sucked.
And Ben Affleck is in it too.
Yeah, that sucked. That was an awful movie. To the Wonder, that was awful.
To the Wonder, right?
That was.
Okay, I don't know if I. Well, no, I think I did see Knight of Cups. I don't know. A lot of his movies look similar, so I can't.
Yeah, because of the way they're all shot and stuff. They're so beautifully shot.
So beautiful. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, like, even though I don't really care for The Tree of Life, that is one of the most beautifully shot films I've ever seen, and yet that film didn't even win Best Cinematography. You know what won cinematography that year?
Didn't win.
You know what won cinematography that year? Hugo. Fuck that movie.
Hugo won?
Hugo won Best Cinematography.
Huh, that's interesting.
Fuck that movie. I don't really care for Hugo personally. I don't care for it.
Tree of Life and The New World and Badlands are my favorites.
Did you ever see The Thin Red Line?
That's the one I haven't seen yet.
Ah.
And this Knight of Cups, I feel like I did see the trailer. What? Natalie's in the trailer?
Mm-hmm. I only saw the trailer once.
I saw it one time. I just need to revisit it because I can't remember much about it.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So the next movie is a film called The Tale of Love and Darkness. This is actually her directorial debut. And this film premiered at Cannes Film Festival. There's this kid I know who went to Cannes. I think he saw this movie. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't sound like a very. It doesn't say the plot anywhere. It's just based on a book called A Tale of Love and Darkness. I don't know. I can't find any reviews for it, so I have no idea if the film's good or not. But I'm sure you'll be very interested in seeing this because it's her directorial debut.
I didn't even know.
Well, whenever a film premieres at Cannes, you really don't know about it. So, like...
Wow. I just got super excited. She directed a feature?
Mm-hmm.
Natalie.
And she wrote it, too.
Natalie, can you please direct me in one of your films? I want you to be my director. That would be amazing. Wow.
You might work with the director of Edge of Tomorrow. You might work with Tom Cruise. Isn't that enough?
Come on, might. That's...
You're friends with Michael Rooker.
Say his name.
Rooker. You're friends with Merle Dixon from The Walking Dead.
It's so funny that you said that because literally just as
you are friends with Merle Dixon.
Just as you said that, he texted me. Like,
what?
Just as you said it.
Give me his number. I'm kidding. Don't do it. Oh yeah, if my friend, she loves The Walking Dead, So, if she finds out that you texted him, she would probably kill you. Even though her favorite person on that show is Norman Reedus. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been friends with Rooker since 2007 when we've worked on several movies together.
Oh, stop.
Of course, he sends me a text message every now and then.
Lucky as fuck.
He's just a guy.
He's an actor. He was
Yes,
on The
so
Walking
am I,
Dead.
and so am I, and your
He
friend.
was on The Walking Dead. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know this, and I was in Eyes of the Roshi.
Yes, and I want to see that. When is it coming out?
I'll have more information maybe in the next few episodes about that.
Okay, so the next movie we're talking about is Jane Got a Gun. This movie comes out on September 4th. The film co-stars George Ten, Ewan McGregor, and it's directed by Gavin O'Connor. Now, Gavin O'Connor is a very fascinating director because he directed a little movie called, a very underrated movie with your boy Tom Hardy called Warrior.
Oh, so underrated.
And he directed the movie Miracle. Do you remember that movie Miracle?
The one with, what's his face?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yes, I didn't see it, but it's the hockey movie, yes?
Yes, correct. And this movie went through a lot of production stuff. At one point, like Bradley Cooper was going to be in it, but he left, I believe, to do American Sniper. Fassbender was going to be in this, but he left to do X-Men: Days of Future Past. Jude Law was going to be in this at one point. Yeah, there was a lot of people that were going to be in this movie. Like, there were so many. Oh wait, no, Bradley Cooper left to do American Hustle. But yeah, there's so many people in this movie. This movie is coming out on September 4th, but there hasn't been a trailer yet. I don't think there has been. There's only been images released. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be a trailer released soon. Do you know about this movie?
I saw it on IMDb. But that's all. I mean, I saw the title and I saw who was in it. That's pretty much all. The trailer. There's a trailer or
No, there isn't a trailer yet.
So there should be one pretty soon. So
Yeah, I would think. Or else
I'm
they're probably going to
excited.
push it back.
I'm excited to see it.
I'm curious because Warrior was awesome and very underrated.
Warrior was absolutely a treat. I love that film.
And now the last movie on her upcoming films is a film called Weightless, and it's an upcoming musical drama film written and directed by Terrence Malick. And this was filmed around the same time that she did Night of Cups. And ironically, you want to know the cast in this movie? You're probably going to love this cast.
Am I?
Ready? Christian Bale,
Yes.
Natalie Portman,
Yes.
Kate Blanchett. Ironically, they're all three in the same movie. Rooney
Yes.
Mara.
Who?
Rooney Mara.
Okay.
Val Kilmer.
Uh-huh.
Michael Fassbender. Benicio del Toro.
Very nice.
And Ryan Gosling.
What? That is a freaking ridiculous cast. That is wow.
I have no idea when we have no idea when this movie's coming out.
Has this gone into production yet?
He always films his movies like 4 years before they come out. That's the thing with Terrence Malick. He films his movies 4 years before they come out. So yeah, he filmed this like in September 2012.
Oh wait, now, what's this one called?
This one's called Weightless, but if you go on Wikipedia, it's called Untitled Terrence Malick Project.
Okay, that one. Okay. Wow. So they've already shot this. That's right. I remember this now because I remember that Ryan Gosling was supposed to be in a movie with Christian Bale that Terrence Malick directed.
But he is doing the movie with Christian Bale right now. I forgot what it's called.
Ryan Gosling or Terrence Malick?
Terrence Malick. Wait, what? With Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling and Christian Bale are filming the movie right now. I forgot what it's called. I had to look that up. Here we go. It's called The Big Short. It's directed by Adam McKay. It stars Brad Pitt, Christian Bale, Ryan Gosling, and Steve Carell. And it's some political drama, comedy drama film. Adam McKay's the guy who's directed Will Ferrell in many movies like Anchorman and the other guys and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay.
Christian Bale and Ryan Gosling and Brad Pitt working together.
That should be fun.
That's really cool. And
Oh,
Steve Carell's in it. That's a big thumbs up for me.
Yeah, they were good in Crazy Stupid Love together. That was cool.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot they were in that together. Oh my God, Gosling was so good in that movie.
He's
Oh,
good in everything.
oh no, but he was
Well, I
great and
like that
Grace to
he
be
was
loved.
able to do a comedy.
Yeah,
He was
exactly,
it was kind of a dramedy, but it was pretty funny.
exactly.
Because he started out doing comedy when he was a kid.
Yeah, when he was on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, so it was nice to see him go back to that. We just turned this into a Ryan Gosling podcast.
Oh, don't worry, we'll do a Ryan Gosling episode soon. We'll definitely do an episode on him soon, where I can rant about the Notebook. So that's pretty cool. Or if we do Rachel McAdams, so that's pretty fine. Okay, so that will conclude this episode of the Films Up podcast. Once again, just tell us your favorite Natalie Portman films down below. And of course, Amanda right now is going to tell you what our next episode of the Films Up is going to be. 10 episodes. Our next episode is number 10. Wow.
I certainly hope this choice is good enough to be our 10th episode.
Yes, and this guy has a film coming out later this year, but honestly, I wanted to do him now because he's a friggin' great actor. Amanda?
I'm pretty sure this is one of Brian's favorite actors.
Oh, he is. He's definitely
His
is.
name happens to be Matt Damon.
Yay! Matt Damon! Matt Damon! Yay! Yes, our next episode is on Matt Damon. This is gonna be an awesome episode to do because I freaking love Matt Damon. There's so many movies of his that I've seen. I've seen a lot of his movies, and I can't wait to rewatch some of them again. So this is gonna be awesome. This is great. So guys, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Tell us down below your favorite Natalie Portman films, your favorite memories of her. Tell us the first film you saw of her. Tell us your least favorite film. Share this video. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to this channel. Follow Amanda on all the social media sites. All the links will be in the description below. And yeah, that is it, guys. Have a good day, night, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. And we'll see you guys next time.
Can I just say real quick,
Yes.
if you haven't seen Natalie Portman's Saturday Night Live rap skit, then go and do that right away. Thank you and love you. Bye.